rifreeradio.org. Let the beat search you, go, go. Let the beat search you, go, go. Let the beat urge you on. Let the beat search you, go, 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 go. A message from state to state. We must cross every kind of line. Too much is at stake with the future of the fight. City through extortion. The corporate media lies, programmed for being programmed. And time. History is not consensus. Go left to the devices of our governments. Equality of information is a mass destruction weapon in a divided, violent nation now. Let the beat search you, go, go. Let the beat search you, go, go. Let the beat urge you on. Let the beat search you, go, 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 go. Let the beat search you, go, go. Let the beat urge you on. Let the beat search you, go, 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 go.
Yes, we are broadcasting live from the first ever Rhode Island Cannabis Convention online at rifreeradio.org. Tony Jones here, and we have let the PO taxpayer Pat Ford. We've let him wander about for a little while, and actually the band. It's weird how these segments and things just kind of happen. We just came out of a double shot of some local music. We heard Satellites Fall, One Night. That's the last track we heard. I brought you into. And then actually the track you just heard, Beat Surge by Down City Armory. I had not heard of Down City Armory until the man sitting next to me, George Nasser from MyNightOutRI.com, formerly of ProvidenceNightOut.com. You introduced me to Down City Armory.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tony. Good to see you.
You know, on your show, on My Night Out Radio, we've been talking a lot about the possibility of going down the road a little bit and the impact that the potential legalization of cannabis could have on the hospitality business. We asked Jim Nels from Rhode Island Food Fights about it, and we've asked a couple other hospitality folks, but I haven't yet got your opinion on the potential of cannabis and hospitality.
Well, first of all, it smells great in here.
I think I saw a small skunk walking by today,
yeah,
and that would account for the smell.
Shrooms. It's really intriguing to me because I think people are just totally focused on the smoking aspect of cannabis. And, you walk around this venue today and you see all of these vendors who I firmly believe are so far ahead of the curve that's taking place. I think we're really missing the aspect of what cannabis can really do for our overall economy. And when I'm thinking of, and when I'm talking about, when I think of that is, what impact will it have on our food industry? What impact will it have on our state universities? What impact will it have on our mom and pop shops that you might see bakeries pop up or dog food treats popping up, as we're seeing it taking place in Colorado and Seattle, coffee shops, smoke shops. I think when you get a bird's eye view instead of just focusing on the smoking aspect of it, I think the opportunities could be incredible, and I would love to see Rhode Island get out ahead of the curve and really start to actively and aggressively start to pursue those other avenues.
And, we've talked about that a lot with the advocates, the folks from Regulate Rhode Island and the folks from Rhode Island Normal, that Rhode Island is in such economic despair that if we could possibly be the first in New England. And we talked a little bit about it yesterday about craft beer and how a lot of states have reformed how beer is brewed in the craft beer industry. It kind of falls in line with that too, where with a little bit of smart regulation, a little bit of smart leadership by the General Assembly, Rhode Island really could be a craft beer destination. So right now there's a big bureaucracy where if you're a brewer, you can't sell directly to the liquor stores or to the bars, so you have to go through a third party. And it's this big convoluted bureaucratic process. Sure. And I think we could possibly be seeing that with cannabis, hopefully not. Again, just a little bit of leadership from the General Assembly. And for me personally, we joked about it yesterday, the silence has been deafening because I'm constantly contacting my representative and my state senator, and the only thing I'm hearing is crickets.
Absolutely.
They don't want to touch it.
Well, you know what? I think part of it is those who are resisting are either tied up with Big Pharma,
yeah,
or they're just sitting on the sidelines waiting to sell their soul, and they're just waiting for the biggest bidder to come along. I think could be kind of dangerous if we're just doing this on a reactionary because we have a tax, we're such messed up for taxes. But I think if you have some visionary thinkers that come along and truly put their minds to seeing the aspects of what the impact could be, not only for our tax structure, but, it all trickles down, obviously, but, we can actually become the Amsterdam of the East Coast.
And we're seeing that. There's the wait-and-see approach, and we're seeing that a little bit with Colorado right now. But, as the old saying goes, Rhode Island ain't Colorado. But there's not there's no leadership on the state level, and there surely isn't any leadership in the General Assembly about this. And I think, you're involved in the renewable energy business, right? And I think we're seeing that also with renewable energy, where National Grid, and I don't know the whole story, you probably know a little bit more about it than me, but National Grid had this kind of bogus surcharge where when you tried to switch over, they really hammered you, right?
Absolutely. Here they are promoting, sustainable energy, green energy. They want to become known as the green energy provider. However, the sources that National Grid uses to provide our grid are the largest polluters in the world.
Right.
So most people don't understand that the biggest pollutant in the world is the generation of electricity,
and
as it's in its brown form.
And there's a huge big coal lobby in Washington, and these congressmen and senators get reelected without doubt every year to kind of push that big coal agenda. And I hate to see anybody lose their job, especially working class type folks, these guys that are going into these coal mines and stuff every day. But the time has come. It's another one of those issues where the time has really come to look at other sources.
It's time, and the world is changing to a new economy. It's no longer the economies of our fathers and grandparents. We need forward-thinking people. One of the companies that I am, associated with through the renewable energy is Tesla. So Tesla Motors, with the battery car, now has come out with a battery for your home.
Yeah.
And, as you can see, or you can imagine, the energy industry that we know it now is so against it because eventually people will come off the grid.
Yeah.
Through solar energy. Now you can store your solar energy through a battery. And, listening to some of your guest speakers,